linear. It doesn't hesitate. It just pulls through.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Jay Leno's Garage. The car featuring today, the 2019 Aston Martin Vantage. This is the best Vantage they have built to date. Really quite impressive. All new car, new engine, new horsepower, new torque, new transmission. I mean, you know, if I ever had a complaint about Aston, it was that they were just a little bit behind everybody else by the time they got stuff to market. This time, I think they're ahead of the game. It has an all-new 4-liter V8. It's the AMG Mercedes-Benz engine, twin turbo, 503 horsepower, 505 foot-pounds of torque. Aston Martin is one of those cars. Other cars overwhelm. This car seduces, I think. I always think it's the most seductive brand on the market because they always get the interior right. You know, sometimes people, in their haste to produce sports cars, the interiors are so Spartan and so uncomfortable, whereas this is a sports car that feels like a grand touring car. You've got the proper leather, that traditional English sort of interior, really rich looking. It's really fun to drive. And the car appears bigger than it is. This car is actually smaller than a 911. It's got perfect proportions, 8-speed transmission. I drove it for a couple of days. I'm really impressed with it. Let's bring in the president of Aston Martin North America, Laura Schwab. Laura, how are you?
Good to see you.
Nice job on this one, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really is impressive. It's fun to see Aston up their game, and they've really done it this time, because the last generation car was very nice, but only had 430 horsepower. This is right up there with everybody else, and the handling is remarkable, and of course, as I say, the most seductive car on the market as far as I'm concerned. You know, I like the new look. I like how the fenders bulge out, how the tires almost appear to be pushing their way out of the car. No silly extraneous scoops, no giant wings. I mean, this is a proper, mature sports car. I mean, that's what I really like about it. If you're contemplating this, you really should drive it. The handling is really sublime. It really is nice. And you're using that Mercedes-Benz motor now, right?
Yeah, we're really excited. I mean, I think that V8 engine is perfect in this car. You know, we make it our own, of course.
Right.
But you got to experience it this week. And
right.
It just drives so beautifully. You can even change the mode, as you know, when you drove
right.
it this week.
Well, ever I went with this, I said to people, how much do you think this car costs? And they said, 200, 225. And it's 150, which is not a small amount, obviously, but for an Aston Martin, it's unbelievable. I mean, this is an entry-level, I hate to say entry-level because that means stripper, it sounds like it, but it's not in any sense of the word. I mean, they really are fighting to be competitive against Porsche and Audi, and they've really done just an excellent job. It's very seductive to drive. It's very light, it handles very nicely. And you know, it's so smart not to use because when you build your own engine and you call it the best, well, you have to. Right. But when you can afford to go out and go, we want to buy the best engine we can and put it in our platform, then that's what you do.
Yeah.
And this Mercedes AMG just builds wonderful motors. You know, twin turbo, as I said, 503 horsepower. But in this lighter package, because this is probably, what does this weigh, do you know? 33? Something like that?
Yeah, roughly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, quite competitive with everything else in the market segment, but you get an Aston Martin and you get some incredible handling. And the greatest thing in the history of the world, as far as I'm concerned, is it will be available at some point with a manual 7-speed transmission. Isn't that correct?
We're going to make sure that happens for you, Jay.
Well,
but yes,
no,
it will happen because our customers demand it too. They want it, right?
I just like that, even if it's only a small percentage, just for the street cred. You know, when Alfa Romeo introduced the new Giulia, I drove one with a stick in it, and I said, "Oh, I love this," because I always think of Alfa as a manual car, but well, we're not bringing that to the States. Well, I mean,
no, we've always said we will. Actually,
Yeah.
Aston Martin, we've always said we will.
And this has a transaxle as well, a carbon fiber drive shaft, and a torque tube. It's really quite up to date because Aston has always been a small company, and they couldn't afford to compete with the big boys just out of financial constraints because they were a small company. But now they've really upped the game, and it's impressive. It's impressive to see.
Thank you.
Here's another unique Aston feature. I guess it's called a Swan wing door. It lifts up. This way,
Yes.
you're not, sometimes you get in your car, you open the door and you dig it into the grass because you're in the curb. This actually comes up and out, so it's kind of cool. It's subtle, but you see,
Yeah, it's a lovely touch.
it goes up there and it just kind of goes up this way, and it makes egress, as the English like to say, just a little bit easier. So that's kind of a cool feature too. And of course, the very luxurious interior. What else do we need to know? As I said, smaller than a 911, which, looking at it visually right now, you wouldn't think that. You'd think it's a bigger car.
No, I think because it's got such a strong stance,
Yeah.
you think it looks a little bit bigger. You mentioned the haunches. It just gives it that sort of muscular appeal.
Plus your tires or your wheels are pushed out almost as far as you
As
can
far
get
as you can take
to the
them.
four corners. yeah.
Exactly.
And you've got regular luggage space, and this opens up so you can get things in there. We'll open it up a little
Yep.
bit, but I just love the shape and the design of the car. It's really a good looking automobile. And the thing I like about it, much like the McLaren F1, it's kind of a timeless shape. This seems like you could drive this in 10 years and it would still look contemporary.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's unmistakably an Aston Martin,
Right.
but it's modern.
Yeah, if I ever had a complaint about Aston Martin, it was that it wasn't as modern as some of the other.
Yeah.
They couldn't come out with the new
Yeah.
electronics, the new whatever, as quick as the other guys. But now they have, and well, you're seeing it right here. Can we open that hood? Let's
do it.
Yeah, let's open the hood up. Where am I?
Here, let's help them get the,
Oh, there it is. Okay.
yeah.
Well, as you can see, there's a V8 engine in there somewhere. It's but it's almost, well, I guess what they used to call mid-engine, front engine. If it's
Yeah.
much like the SLR Mercedes, was kind of, I don't know if they pioneered that, but the first one I saw do it. So the engine is set back enough. It's nothing is forward of the axle
Right.
or anything. And you've got this incredible brace here, which is extremely lightweight aluminum. As I said, your twin turbos right up front here. These are really just wonderful motors. These V8s are just incredible. What else is under here we need to point out, I guess? You got a working hood scoop.
Don't forget, there's always the reminder that every single car is handmade. With that
Right.
plaque
Oh yeah,
that
you got the
sits
name
there.
of,
You got the name of the last person who inspected your car.
that's Harrison Bluck.
He's a real person
Yeah.
in England, but I always think it's this nice nod that every single one of our vehicles is handmade. It takes about 200 hours.
Yeah,
to
and the
make our
nice thing is, if you
Vantage.
have any problem, you call Harrison at home. pick
Yes,
him up.
he'll be awaiting your phone call.
Yeah, we'll be waiting a phone call to see. Well, no, I mean, that's what makes Aston
That's what makes
interesting.
it special,
But I
right?
like this. Instead of having the hood scoop on the roof where it's obvious, you see
Yeah.
it's up under here, and it enters through here and cools without having it right on the hood, which is kind of cool.
Which is cool. yeah.
Nicely done. And of course, that signature grille that dates back, well, that's almost an Aston tradition, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That grill and then obviously that badge right there.
Right.
We're
the-
actually, talking about that. That's an actual piece of jewelry that's handmade in the jewelry district in Birmingham, England. And
Oh, is
we're
that right?
It is. Yeah, we're one of the only manufacturers that it's truly a piece of jewelry. It's
Okay.
another something that makes Aston Martin really special.
Now, I know this comes with this has the steel rotors on it, correct? Mm-hmm. But it comes with the carbon fiber package if you want.
Absolutely, yeah.
I never see the need for that unless you're tracking the car, really.
Yeah.
Even my F1 McLaren, well, it didn't have carbon fiber rotors, didn't exist back in the day.
Right.
But they work fine. And I've been on these brakes pretty hard the last couple of days, and it's incredible. At least certainly on
Yeah.
the street. I guess if you're going to track it, it's a good idea. But the nice thing is you can track this car, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and it has a track mode. So the mode you put it in when you start is sport mode,
Right.
and it goes up to sport plus, and then you can take it on the track. And we've done a lot of testing with the vehicle on the track. It performs great.
It really does feel light, and it feels different from any other previous Aston just because it's more modern and more new.
Every single line of an Aston Martin sort of has a consequence. And as we're standing here, Jay, you're looking at that front line from
Right.
the hood as you sort of work your way back to the haunches. I mean, that's what really gives it this amazing design appeal.
And what is this here? What does that do exactly?
That's for your rain sensing wipers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can sense when it's raining.
Which
I
isn't
look
always
out
that
and my face gets wet. But I guess you have to have that thing sensing for you. Okay. The interesting thing is there's absolutely no bright work on this car at all, yet it really pops. You know,
Yeah.
there's no chrome or polished stainless, yet it doesn't need it. It's such a clean design. Is this, what's the head designer's name?
Merrick Reckman.
Merrick, right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's one of those names I always trip over because I'm dyslexic. But I'm always impressed with his work. And as I said before, I love the fact there isn't a lot of hood scoops and giant wings and all of it. Managed to do all of this without having that. And it's just such a nice, clean look to the car.
Yeah.
When you come to the back here, see this nice splitter there, and of course you got your dual exhaust. Is there an optional exhaust system, a sports system or something?
Yeah, you can go up to a quad exhaust as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Let's open the trunk, show people what it looks like. This I thought was nice. You get a full-size trunk. You can actually put things back here.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can put actually 2 sets of golf clubs. Take
Oh,
the
yeah.
drivers
Well,
out.
that's my life. Nothing I
Yeah.
like more than driving around with 2 sets of golf clubs.
With 2 sets of golf clubs.
I find you take the golf clubs out and you just throw them by the side of the road, you can knock a couple of 100 pounds right out of the weight of the car. So just take the golf clubs, sell them at a garage sale, and then actually...
And then drive.
Yeah, and go drive this, yeah. But something else that impresses me, you know, a lot of times when car companies come here with their product, they bring the top of the line product and then they go, and they start at this product, and then you go look at the base one. This is the base model. I hate to say base because that sounds like, but this is their least expensive model.
Yeah, so I mean, the car starts at $150. This is a designer spec with this is a hyper red is the name of this color.
Right.
But yeah, you've got pretty much everything you need in this car.
Yeah, I mean, I just had a ball driving this. I was up in the hills bombing around in it, and it was very, very impressive. I mean, it's got a real nice sense of balance to it.
Yeah.
It's just a nice driver's car. I realize there are cars with more horsepower, but I'm getting a little blown away by all the horsepower stuff. I watch these YouTube videos where people pull out of Cars and Coffees and they nail it and they slide across the street and smash into the Audi parked there with the kid in the child's seat crying. You know, and you go, what are you doing?
What are you
know?
doing?
Yeah. Whereas this it's a really fun package to drive. It really is impressive. What other features here? I like the way the lights are integrated into the rear. That's nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
This is exactly the way it is on a DB5.
Yeah,
You know,
precisely.
and which is one of my favorite Astons. But you know, it's fun to take some of that, put it on the new modern car. Yeah, it's really a beautiful, beautiful design. To try and sketch this or draw this is harder than you think. And just the way these haunches flow here at the back of the car. And it's really smaller and no wider than 911, but it has such presence. That's
Yeah,
what's
it does.
impressive.
Yeah, I think too, for you having driven it sort of in your use this week, you really see how it can be a daily driver. I've actually driven it on a track as well, and put it to its paces. And
Yeah. Are these the standard wheels or is that an optional wheel?
There's an optional wheel.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Well, can we take it for a ride?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Take it for a ride.
In the inside of the leather, our seamstresses, they actually brand their initials
Right.
on the inside. Like you'll never see it, right?
Right.
But when they feel like it was, you know, just like some of their like best work ever, they'll like
Oh.
draw a little picture as well.
Now, what if you find a help me?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh, then you go, oh man.
Then you're like, wow.
Then you got a moral decision. Do I screw up my car? Or what do
Yeah,
I do?
exactly. Exactly.
The nice thing is I like the fact that in the normal sport mode, which is really street mode or comfort
Yeah,
mode
exactly.
and anything else, is quiet enough so the car doesn't drum. You know,
Yeah, no.
A lot of cars with these titanium exhaust systems, it just gets the banging in
No, I
your
mean, that's
ear.
where we're sitting at a light right now.
Yeah, you can actually take a trip in this car.
really comfortable.
Yeah, packaging-wise, it's actually pretty good because you've got reasonable luggage space. I mean, I've got an NSX and that has nowhere. I mean, you could maybe carry a pack of gum if you don't get the large one. But
No, I mean we're like perfectly comfortable right now. Obviously, the two of us.
yeah, no, it's
And-
very nice. It's not a double clutch gearbox, but the ZF unit is very nice.
Yeah, it is.
I don't get any perceptible lag in it.
No.
What's 0 to 60? About 3.5, something
Yeah,
like that?
you're exactly right.
Boom, 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 8 times. And I like the whole Aston Martin thing. I'm not sure what it is, but I just like the thing around the company. You know, it's small, independent, it's English.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I think there's something special about Aston Martin. We don't have some other brand that is controlling what we do. We're an independent company, a small business. All the cars are still handmade in the center of England, a little town called Gaydon.
I've said it probably twice already. The fact you buy the best stuff and then you put it on your car. You spend your whole life trying to compete making your own engine with somebody, and it may work, and if it doesn't, then you still have to claim it's the best. You know what I'm saying? Whereas this,
exactly.
You go, no, we search. I imagine Aston Martin search every engine suitable, and this is the best one.
Yeah, this is exactly. We take it, we tweak it, we make it ours. But this V8 it's just a fabulous engine. It really is. I think too, you sort of mentioned it. Aston Martin's one of those brands that you just say the name, and people have such positive sentiments about it.
Well, yeah, on affiliation is funny, but that doesn't mean anything if the car's not any good.
Well, that's exactly right.
For years, the car companies have tried to get by on go fast stripes and recognition with some movie star or something, and it works for a little while, but ultimately, unless you got the backup,
you have to have this. You have to have the goods. The customers are smart, and you have to be able.
It really handles nicely.
Yeah, it does. It's so much fun to drive.
Yeah, it's almost a perfect combination, street and track. I mean, anybody, I don't know, a hardcore racer is going to have a second car to do that in. I don't really take my street cars to the track. Maybe the 4GT, maybe, because that's more hardcore.
Right.
But something like this, I don't know, you drive it to the track to race your other car, and you just have a good time getting there. I was thinking I've got a real history with Aston Martin. We've been doing this for a long time.
What are some of the ones that you really remember the most?
The race car with the 100?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was fantastic.
So cool.
Boy, what a styling exercise that was. Really good-looking car, fast.
And then you drove, I think I remember, you drove the DB10.
Right, the DB10.
Yeah.
That was the one that this car is based on, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think we made 10 vehicles for that, for the Bond movie, Spectre.
Was that the Spectre movie?
Yeah, that was for Spectre. And it all started off of a sketch on Merrick's wall.
But then the 11 came out before that.
Well, the DB10 came out, and then the DB11 came out right after that.
Right,
and I think there was the assumption that the DB11 was going to look like the DB10. But actually, this car that we're in right now bears much more of a resemblance to DB10.
Right. Now, there's talk of a hybrid electric Aston Martin, isn't there?
At CES, like a year ago, we showed the Rapide E, which would be full battery electric. And at the Geneva Auto Show this year, we announced the reintroduction of the Lagonda name. Right. And that we will be producing 2 Lagondas, and they will be fully battery electric.
Okay. So, I mean, only battery electric only? Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, that's quite exciting, and I think that design concept at Geneva really took the whole thing by storm.
And all Lagondas are 4-seater, 4 doors, correct?
Yeah, they have been.
Yeah, I mean, they have been up to this point.
Up to this point. We've talked a little bit about this sort of product offensive from Aston Martin. So we call it our second century plan. So this is the next 100 years of Aston Martin. So it started with DB11.
And the first 100 years are pretty dicey. I mean, there were a couple of years when Aston only made like 6 cars or 9 cars, right?
Yeah. And then, now to say we launched 7 new cars in 7 years is really aggressive.
It's really. I can remember when somebody was buying an Aston Martin, and they said to Dave, "No, I want the car at your cost."
Yeah.
And Dave said, "All right," and he charged him another $1,000.
Yeah.
Because he lost money on every car.
Yeah. It's just a totally different, different place for us to be in now. This year alone, we launched the DB11 Volante, so the convertible version of DB11. This vehicle, DB11 V12 AMR, and then this week we revealed the DBS Superleggera, and that car goes on sale at the end of this year. So that's a pretty aggressive year.
I gotta admit, I often think of Aston Martin as a closed car. I mean, a lot of people like the convertible, and it's okay to me. But to me, I like being cosseted. I like the, you know, the leather. I mean, it feels like a warm environment to be in. I know they've done some wonderful convertibles over the years, but I have to admit, I always see them as a closed car. I like the closed car.
I think it's a matter of preference, and, and for customers to have the option is you know, best case scenario. There's nothing feels too wrong about being in this car right now.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about the Vulcan, that deal there.
Yeah, well, you know, we only made about 20 Vulcans, and at Le Mans a few weeks ago, some of our Vulcan owners got to literally drive their vehicles on the track, which is so cool. You'll also be familiar with Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, right, right. Yeah,
so there's a Vulcan, there's a Valkyrie. So this is our, you know, really, when we talk about the specials of the brand.
And you did the 77s, right?
Yeah, we did, the 177.
177.
Yeah.
There was, what, 77 of those?
That's exactly right.
Right,
yeah.
right.
The response to Valkyrie, you know, maybe you saw it. I'm sure you've seen it. Maybe you saw it at Pebble Beach last year. I mean, that car is, you know, again, I like every Aston. It just kind of gives you the chills just looking at it.
Right, right. And how much were those?
We didn't announce final pricing. It hasn't gone on sale yet, but we're sold out. I'll tell you that much.
It's sold out, but you don't know the price yet. Well, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Then you just wait and they charge you whatever you want.
We won't do that.
Where's the biggest market for Aston Martin? Is it? I imagine the Middle East is probably pretty big.
Now, the Middle East does pretty well, but really it's here in the Americas. We're the largest market, us and the UK, the home market, as you would imagine. And this year, it's with the introduction of all the new vehicles, it's really, for all the markets, it's all about growth.
Well, listen, thanks for bringing this by. I really, really enjoyed it. It's always embarrassing when people bring a car and it's not quite up to snuff and you kind of have to kind of hem and haw. Whereas this thing is perfect. I just loved it. It handles, it's comfortable, it's one of the best looking sports cars of all time, and it's really got a timeless shape. It's really, really terrific. They've done their homework and they've really kicked it up a notch. Laura, thank you very much.
Thank you,
and good
Jay.
luck with your new job as president of Aston Martin North America. And let's keep driving these cars.
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks so much.
I want to drive that mid-engine thing when it comes out.
We'll make sure that happens.
You heard it here first. Okay, see you guys next week.
Mm-hmm.